At this point, I'm beating a dead horse on this channel, but some of y'all haven't learned this lesson yet, so guess what? I'm gonna keep beating this horse. Mute all might be the single biggest thing you're not doing that's almost guaranteed to give you at least 200 LP over a split. Think about that. Literally pressing enter and typing 9 characters adds 200 LP to your end of split rank. Mute all is great for making League a single player game, which is quite an underrated aspect of climbing that most people simply gloss over. I understand that the whole allure of League is that it's a 5v5 MOBA, and part of the challenge and experience climbing within this game is to coordinate and sync up with your allies. This is all well and good until you realize that most of your teammates are sometimes just a bunch of zoo escapees. While there is definitely a time and place to coordinate with the team and hash out strategies, the sad reality of the game is that most of you guys aren't even at a level where that's really an option. Technically speaking, even I'm not at that level yet. The common consensus among the best League players on the server seems to be that the elo where teamwork and coordination seems to be the most important is when you start getting to like mid-masters, which is essentially 0.85 of the player base. Meaning there's no real need to read what your teammates are typing, whether good or bad, because what they type is largely irrelevant to you and your own development as a ladder climber. What's funny is that when I was stuck in bronze to gold, I can actually say that players were making a more conscious effort to sync up and coordinate. I can distinctly remember that everyone will be writing fucking paragraphs on what rotations to make and who to play around and how to play out a team fight. I remember this specifically for 2 reasons. One, it was the first and only time in my solo queue journey that I genuinely had that 5v5 MOBA experience that I was promised. It seemed like everyone wanted to win the way League was advertised to casuals, through coordination, teamwork, and synchronization. The second reason I remember this was because doing the exact opposite was what eventually got me out of this elo bracket. It's the unfortunate truth that most of you either don't know or don't want to admit, but reading what your teammates have to say has an extremely bad return on investment, especially in these lower ranks. Why? Because no one really knows what the hell they're doing, and they're just frantically trying to play the quote-unquote correct way instead of playing in a way that facilitates their own long-term rank growth. Is it a shock that the higher I climb, the less and less people try to coordinate through typing? Muting text and even pings is a great way to remove that unnecessary team element from your climbing journey and focus more on yourself. When you start thinking of League as a solo player game, like guys, it's literally in the name, solo queue, it becomes easier to zero in on your behavior and change it instead of factoring in what your teammates also have to say. Even if they're technically saying the right thing some of the times, it's not really worth factoring in their external opinions on your own internal journey, because your teammates change game after game, but you don't. So focus on yourself, and LP will follow. If you guys are new here, my name is Raybees. I do mostly League of Legends climbing content, but I'm venturing a little bit more into gaming psychology videos as well as videos on other games coming soon. If you guys find value in any of my videos, do make sure to like and subscribe so the algorithm promotes my channel to a bigger audience. While we're on the topic of focusing on yourself, King, here's another nugget of insight that I wish someone would have told me when I first started out climbing rank. Climbing in League is all about learning how to win with a particular champ in every single game state. Climbing in League is all about learning how to win with a particular champ in every single game state. Climbing in League is all about learning how to win with a particular champ in every single game state. You got it? Do you need me to say it one more time? The reason why champ IQ is so important in League is because it doesn't really matter how much information you know about the game if you don't have the champ IQ to pull off what you know. Let's say you're going to a restaurant, right? Even though it's like a 40-minute drive, you know the route perfectly. You know what exit to take, where to turn for a shortcut, all that jazz. But what good is any of that information if you don't have a fucking car? In climbing, your champion is the car. It's the vehicle you use to enforce your will upon the game. The more you play your champion, the more you get used to playing it in different scenarios. Like how would you play when you're even, how would you push the lead when you're ahead, how do you stall out the game when you're behind. The more you know about your champion, the better you'll get at playing each and every single one of these game states that you're in, and in turn, guarantee a higher chance of success in the long term. That's why it's paramount to get into the habit of sticking to one champion, ideally one that's simple and one that you like playing. It's better if you can spam the champion for 1,000 games, because if you get the reps in and develop a bigger brain for playing that champion, it'll give you more options in the 3 scenarios that I listed earlier. A quote I really liked from Bruce Lee was that, "I fear not the man who's practiced 10,000 kicks a single time, but the man who's practiced a single kick 10,000 times." Especially if you're undermastered, you've got no business trying to play a whole lot of complicated shit. You'll get much farther, much quicker in your League journey if you stop trying to cosplay Prime fucking Faker and just follow the rules that works literally for everyone. Speaking of rules that work for everyone, Number 1 on this list, whether it's in League or in life, is simply using your common sense. In essence, the best thing you can learn to improve at the game are transitive skills that transcend champions and roles. These are the laws of the game, the unshakable truths that don't really change no matter what you play. The reason why I call them common sense is because they're usually extremely simple things to internalize and use, but you're probably so overwhelmed by everything else that's going on in your games that you even forget they exist most of the time. Let me give you a quick example. Let's say you're playing one of the carry CSing roles, like top, mid, and especially ADC. Let's say you got behind in the early game and you're like borderline users in the mid game, but someone else in another carry position is strong. How would you play out the situation from here? Knowing most of you, you probably wouldn't even realize that they're strong in the first place because you're too busy feeling bad for yourself for being behind. I get it, it's normal because literally 95% of League players do this. In the off chance that you have enough game state awareness to figure it out, you would probably leverage that strong member to get back into the game for yourself. However, the correct play here would be to play around them, meaning stuff like warding and leading on their side, meaning not starting any sort of skirmish or big team fight without them in the vicinity, meaning keeping an eye on them throughout the game to make sure they're not in any danger of getting shut down. I know for a fact that most of you don't know this, but this is how you play around a strong member on your team. Now keep in mind, this is fairly a common sense thing to do, right? If you're trapped in the wild with like fucking 4 other people and one member of your group looks like fucking Ronnie Coleman, you would probably quote unquote play around him, right? If you're doing a group project and you have the really smart kid in your group, you'd make sure to give them all the parts that no one else really wants to do. It's so funny because it's easy for us to do this in the real world, but when it comes to League, this common sense just goes out the fucking window. Aside from playing around your strongest member, there are tons of other little truths out there about the game that are generally true no matter what the hell you're playing. Getting into the habit of being on the lookout for these little insights can seriously supercharge your journey, and mastering them can just add hundreds of LP to your final end of year rank. Just like Champion IQ, these things are extremely powerful if you just remember to do them during the game. And quite unlike Champion IQ, you don't need to invest 200 plus games on a specific champion before you can start using them. It's literally plug and play. By discovering these common sense principles, the chaotic and unpredictable game that's usually League solo queue takes on a much more organized sequence flow, making it easier for you to make sense of it all. If you guys are interested in more common truths about the game, drop on my Discord. I usually have interesting discussions like this over there, and if you manage to watch this far into the video, I suspect you have the attention span to engage in good discussions. That's it for me in this video, guys. As per usual, like and subscribe. If you're below diamond and want to get coaching, my plans start at $10 a month, so just hit me up on Discord. I've been linking videos that pertain to each of the topics that I've discussed today throughout the video, so if you're interested in them, scroll below and you should see them. I've linked my entire climbing playlist here as well, so check it out for more videos like this. And that's it for me in this video, guys. I'll catch you in the next one. And remember, anyone can get diamond.